Hello, welcome back to One World. I'm Lynda Kinkade. Good to have you with us. We have news just into CNN of another person rescued alive in southern Turkey. According to CNN Turk, a woman was pulled out 111 hours after that devastating quake hit Turkey and Syria. Well, right now, more than 22,000 people are known to have been killed. And since there's far less access to northern Syria because of the ongoing civil war, the casualties there could be much higher than what's been reported so far. And earlier, this woman pulled out of the rubble after 104 hours. Small victories that mean the world to their loved ones. Well, Anderson Cooper reports on more dramatic rescues, and please keep in mind that what you're going to see is graphic.
In the darkness, they search, and sometimes they find them. A family crushed in what was once their home. Headlamps reveal a woman, partially visible, laying on her side. She has no pulse. A hand frantically waves in the rubble. A man alive. The baby buried next to him, a 2-month-old girl, is not. Feet away, they move the woman's arm and find a toddler named Hamuda she was protecting. His eyes closed, no sign of life. They pick away the concrete, but then the cry of life. God is great, one rescuer cries. In another building, another child is pinned beneath collapsed concrete and steel. Rescuers give him water from the cap of a bottle. Sip by sip, second after second, they keep him alive. Elsewhere, a boy is found. They hold his hand, work until he's finally free. After so much death, so much disappointment, the rescuers rejoice for the boy. In the ambulance, he cries for his family. My parents, he says. Your family, God willing, will be okay, a rescuer tells him. You are a hero, my darling.
Incredible scenes there, much of it supplied by the White Helmets, our report by Anderson Cooper. Well, the executive director of the World Food Programme says that what's unfolding in northwestern Syria right now is catastrophe on top of catastrophe. That's because millions of people in the region were already being crushed by years of civil war. It was difficult to imagine the situation getting worse until Monday's earthquake hit. The logistics of getting much-needed aid to the rebel-held areas of Syria has been a nightmare. Many Syrians have largely had to rely on themselves since Monday, in some cases with no food, water or fuel, sifting by hand through the debris looking for survivors. CNN's Eleni Jokos talked to Dr. Mike Ryan, the Executive Director of the WHO Health Emergencies Program. She asked him about aid to both government-controlled and rebel-held areas in Syria. Dr. Ryan says shipments will be heading out on flights from Dubai this weekend. He's part of that interview.
We've got 141 local partners in the areas not controlled by the government. We've been working there for 10 years using the Bab al-Hawa crossing point, which is a UN-approved crossing point. We have had prepositioned supplies there, and we have supplies on the other side of the border. The problem has been the Bab al-Hawa crossing has been compromised by the earthquake itself. So we have a lot of supplies ready to come in. The teams on the ground are using the supplies that they have, but there's a real need now to get those supplies across the border to supplement what's already been used on the ground. Our job is to use the access that we have to do the most we can for the people of the whole of Syria, and we will continue to do that. Other arrangements need to be managed by others who are in a position to create those conditions.
So to what extent do you feel that the sanctions on Syria, and specifically in the rebel-held territories, are impacting your job?
It's been impacting our work for 10 years. The earthquake is a tragic event, but it's brought attention back. The people of all of Syria have been suffering. I'm a humanitarian. Our job is to heal suffering, to heal the wounded, to heal the ill. Our job is not to define what side of a conflict they're on. Our job is to make sure that we can get the maximum humanitarian assistance to all those who have needed on all sides of the conflict. And all sides of this conflict have been forgotten by the international community. This earthquake has brought attention back onto what are overwhelming humanitarian and health needs on all sides of this conflict.
Aid usually has to go through Damascus, that's the messaging, and then they will disseminate the aid. Do you feel that there is a gap between the aid you send to Damascus and whether that is actually going to reach the rebel-held territories?
There's a lot of assistance comes into northwest Syria coming across the Turkish border, which is approved. There's a lot of people suffering in Syria that are not in non-government controlled areas. Our job is to ensure that there's enough supply coming from all sources to address the needs of the people. The cross lines issue is one where we have to improve. We have to get more success in getting cross-line delivery done, cross-line convoys. We will continue to do that with the authorities in Syria. The more that improves, the less pressure there is on having cross-border solutions from other sources. So we will continue to work on all modalities.
Well, journalists on the ground in northern Syria are helping us understand what's happening. Ibrahim Zidane has worked day and night capturing footage of the earthquake's destruction and the huge rescue operation. He joins me now from Al Dana, Syria. Thank you so much for your time.
Hello, thank you for having me.
So you're not only a journalist, you're also a photographer and a videographer documenting the quake and the aftermath. Take us through what you've witnessed.
Yeah, in the last 3 or 5 days since the earthquake hit North Syria, I've been visiting all the locations where the situation is catastrophic. Today, I visited Salkin city. The rescue operations are frankly over because after about 100 hours, we are not expecting anyone to stay alive under the rubble. But the searching for victims are continuous by the white helmets, the civil defense here in North Syria. A lot of families are going to the rescue teams, searching for lost members of their families. So there are more than 10 areas here in North Syria where the rescue teams are still working, searching for victims only, not searching for survivors anymore.
And the traumatic scenes you've had to stomach, the people in agony, in pain, how are you doing and how is your family?
My family is okay, but this situation is not for all the families here. We have more than 100,000 people who are homeless after the earthquake. They are now sleeping in the lands, on the side streets. They have no shelter, they have no food, they have nothing after they got out of their destroyed buildings. So the situation is very bad. Today, a convoy of the UN, it's the second convoy in 2 days. The first one brought 6 vehicles, and today we witnessed 14 vehicles entered Bab al-Hawa towards North Syria. But this is not enough. It's not aimed for the earthquake victims. We need more than that. Today I visited Bab al-Hawa hospital, for example. It's overcrowded with wounded and injured victims of the earthquake. The staff is not capable of taking care of everyone. So we need more than food from the UN. We need health staff, we need rescue and search staff to enter Syria. And Bab al Hawa, I heard in the last report you presented that Bab al Hawa crossing is not safe. It's safe because every day before the earthquake, a convoy was entering to North Syria from Bab al Hawa. So they have no excuse for this late aid. We wished for their aid in the first 2 days where there was hope for us to find alive people under the rubble.
Today, the Syrian president said he would open up more corridors to allow aid to come in to get to people in rebel-held areas. What sort of difference do you think that will make? How soon do you think that will happen?
There is a big difference. The Assad regime is our enemy. Do you expect giving aid to a sheep through a wolf? This is what they are expecting. The Assad regime continued bombing North Syria for 10 years. So he is trying to achieve political gains on the expense of affected people by the earthquake. If you want to support the victims of the earthquake in North Syria, you have to support them through Turkey, through the Turkish borders. The crossing here are open. If you give aid to Assad regime, we will not receive anything from him. Saudi Arabia, Emirates gave some aid to Assad regime, so he will pass this aid for us. But we saw that they are selling those aids in their areas. So if you want to support us, if you want to support North Syria, you have to support them directly. And it's possible, it's doable. What are you waiting for?
Well, we hope that happens. We hope that aid gets there soon. Journalist Ibrahim Zidan, we appreciate your time and all the work you're doing there. Thanks very much and all the best.
Thank you.
Well, still to come on One World, Russia launches a new barrage of missile strikes across Ukraine. We'll have a live update from Kiev when we come back.